Hi everybody. Good morning. Just woke up a little after 6 a.m. here. Just happened to be walking around my trailer and realized you can see right into my bathroom over here. I guess I'll, even though I'm here in the woods, I need to be careful and remember that in case I have an embarrassing moment. That would not be good. So let's just take a look. We got the first day of summer here. I wanted to head over to our field, and as you can see, we've got a little ways to walk to get to the field edge, but the canola is now in that really beautiful yellow state, but it's still growing. That makes sense because if we look at the crop calendar here, we really can't harvest it until next month. There's also no new land up for auction, which is good because I've honestly had my fill of plowing over the off season. At this point we've plowed 7, 13, 26, 27, 33, 17. I've showed some of them. I haven't showed all of them because a lot of them are pretty flat, especially, and I also did 20 knowing that NFM is moving in and using that. So at this point I've decided I have not done anything with honey in quite some time, so I'm going to go ahead and get that over to the store and get some money made off of these bees. Plus, I'm thinking there's probably a lot of honey that's going to get created here. So let's see, I'm hoping I can move along relatively quickly once I figure out where I'm going. Hard to tell if I'm low enough or not. It's going to be easier to tell as I get closer to the pallet. I think I'm good. It looks like I'm pushing enough grass, but I'm still able to steer. Oh, maybe not quite yet. Oh. Let's see, maybe if I lean it that way, because obviously I'm pushing it, and I don't want to be doing that. I want to be... Well, this isn't working as well as it did before. Well, let's see. What if I now put this back this way and then lift it? Will that work? I hope it'll stay on. So I think I'm going to go around this way because I'm worried something. Yeah, we'll do exactly that. Spawn very quickly, and then I'll just be shoving pallets around and making my life more difficult. So let me head up this way. And, that'll be kind of what I'm trying to get done here, is just getting the pallets loaded onto the truck and delivered to the store. If you remember, that's where... Well, that's not going to work because that tree's in the way. So, once again, I'll figure out at some point what makes the most sense, what's the easiest to work with. Because clearly I can, I've got some maneuverability here, which is good. I've got some at the other area, the other angle. And this works out well because the pallets spawn this way. This is still a challenge, and some of this is, again, the wheel and how the ridiculous force feedback works in FS. Oh, that's way too high. Let me back up a little because I think I'm going to hit the lip if I try that. Clearly I'm still trying to figure out my directions there. Alright, that worked. much better. Still wrong. I'm thinking we could get a lot of pallets here. So I just want to be careful in how I load things, what I place on in which location, because I think, oh boy. Like I said, challenge is the order of the day today. Because I want to put these somewhat close together, but obviously don't want to push things off the trailer, and eventually I'll shove these up against the front. Am I too low? Sort of. I think the problem, whoops, that's the fun of, again, somehow this has a very sensitive button, at least on the up and down. I don't know why, but it does. So let's see. All right. So hopefully we'll move along here. And I don't know, I'm going to say we're going to have 7 pallets. Let's see how close we get in the estimate department here. So this is our 3rd. Let's see. Well, this is not working the way I would like, for certain. Now I've twisted it. And again, I'm going to have pallets spawning, and that's exactly what appears to have happened, because now it's showing up 400 and telling me I can't move. Alright. Let me go from the other side. So yeah, this will be the forklift episode. Obviously it'll be the delivery episode too, but yeah, right now just a little bit more challenge, but I think that's just the very nature of this type of work. So we'll get the canola done. Get this up here. But we'll get the canola done as soon as we can. Hopefully tomorrow. And that'll start us moving along to the point where, you know, we can get crops placed and so forth. Not sure how I want to do this. I think I'm gonna reset here a little bit, because if I can put it close, I think I might be able to get another pallet at least somewhat on there. So yeah, this works well. It's just this part that starts to kind of be a little bit rough. And yeah, I think part of it is you can see the trailer settle down, and I think visually it doesn't look like it's low enough yet, so I was lowering things further, lowering the forks down, and then I think that's what was causing some of the problem I was having. I'm thinking these are not low enough yet, but let me get closer and verify that. Yep. Alright, get that up. Wrong way. Don't want them falling off the fork. Ah, shoot. I didn't expect that. So I guess it'll spawn anywhere in the zone. But we know we're to pallet 5. So I'm going to use this to press these forward. Give myself some room. Am I too high? Yes. So let me lower this. And I should be able to shove these a bit. No, I'm just moving the trailer. Alright. Well, this is becoming less and less helpful. I'm hoping I don't need to make multiple trips, but obviously I'm only going to be able to do what I can do. They're not strapped down, so you would think, but maybe because I'm doing it with a pallet, it has some weird physics. I guess we'll take a look. I apologize if there's like a lot of clicking and noise, but I am pretty close. I'm just worried that's hanging off too much. Wow. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Raise that up a bit. Lower it. So you can see the trailer went down there. Please stay up there. Alright. So then what I'll do is now I'll try to push, and hopefully that will respond better. But I'm wondering if it's because it's 4 pallets, the resistance somehow is higher, and it's just not going to move. I mean, I think I'll be able to get these to stay on, but I know with other things, like when I've tried this, it's worked much better for shoving things. Yeah, see, it like let me move that 1 pallet, but it's not going to play nice with letting me move anything else. So, alright, well, if I have the 7, I'm hoping that it's all I've got. And some of that is simply basing it on, I think it's been 6 or 7 days since I moved the honey before, and the beast seemed to be producing about a pallet a day. So that's how I got to that estimate in my head. I really thought I was low enough. This visual is not the best. I just have the wrong buttons in my head. I keep looking at them like, yep, it's this one to go down, and alright, so it's that to go that way. And now I do it the wrong way again, just when I did it a moment ago. I am just not doing well here. And there's another full one, so we're definitely popping them out. There's no doubt about that. Let me see, I should be able to get under this tree limb. And I think if I come in here, yep, that's what I thought. It's going to be a little straighter. Oh, and actually, I might be able to, I guess we'll see. It's letting me go through that tree, because yes, if I can put another one down here, that's my preference, because it is. Why won't it? Alright, now I'm... Whoa, 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 whoa! Okay. My forklift has got a mind of its own here. I see, maybe we've got a little bit of lag that I wasn't seeing, and so it was caching some button pushes. I was trying to flatten out the forks here, and it just was having none of it. Alright, so let's look for when the trailer the trailer definitely sat. Let's see. Alright. Now I will push this forward a bit, assuming I can get the forks to cooperate. Because one pallet should work okay. And it does. Alright. So now we've got 5. Obviously we've got the 6th one on the ground. This may get interesting, but at this point I'm kind of lined up in a way I should be able to take up to 10. I don't think I can stack it higher than that. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my trailer, or my tractor, and get it attached, because I'm also running into a point where it's going to spawn on me again. Oh boy. Well, the good news is, at least it did that. Well, we do have another full pallet. I'm getting nervous. This just may never stop. But I want to start strapping these down, because otherwise, stacked too high. I mean, at this point, I'm honestly amazed I haven't knocked something off the trailer. Yeah, they're all jiggling around as it is. Let me go get the tractor now. Alright, so this should be good enough to tow this. It's a little faster, so that'll help us make the delivery quickly. But I also don't need to just run that crazy large tractor just for this. So if I can burn a bit less fuel, so be a bit more fuel efficient, is what was going through my head. That'll be a good thing. Alright, so do this. Alright, and then I should be able to, yep, there we go, to strap. I think I'll be able to do that without leaving the engine on. But I'm also thinking, as much as I'd like to save the trip from this side, I think I better go load from the other side. Because clearly they're on this side of the trailer. I don't think I can get 2 pallets in there. Now this may be too high, so I may have to lower the forks down. We'll have to see how this all goes. This looked much better when I came in the other way, and I'm wondering if I somehow moved the trailer. Oh boy, I'm not sure this is gonna go exactly as I hope. It's not. That's just not the right angle. Oh, and now, of course, you know, why? You know, it let me go by in one direction. Why would it be any different? But anyway. Alright, let me come around the other side, because I'm clearly not going to be able to do it from this side. Or I can move the trailer, I suppose. That may be what it comes to. But I'm hopeful now that those are strapped down. This tree's in the way, so let me not tempt fate again. But I'm thinking, now that they're strapped down, I can kind of put it there, and then the nice thing with the farming simulator straps is they let you do some pretty crazy things as far as angles and how things sit. I don't know if it's going to let me do it something that crazy, but this just seems like a bad idea, but I think this is the morning of bad ideas, so let's see. Alright, it's on the straps. It's not great. Again, I don't need it to be pretty, I just need it to work, and now it's secure, if we want to call it that. Alright. So let's get the next one, and we'll see if I'm accurate or not, or if I'm going to be surprised with how many honey pallets we get, because this will exceed my guess. And the good news is, at least, you know, I know with the 3 pallets I was like, wow, this is almost not worth the trip, but good news is we don't have that problem. Alright, so let me lift this up, get out of the way. Ooh, look at that, I was right. So we just have enough to start the 8th pallet. I don't think I could ever do that again. I know I've seen other folks on other channels try to guess how much of something they're going to get, or how much something's going to sell for. You know, and sometimes they're not even close. Sometimes they are, but being right on, that's just, especially at my first try, that's unheard of. So I'm pretty excited about that. I guess it should be my day to go play the lottery. Please don't fall. Okay. Alright. This is honestly as good a place as any. So I'm just going to leave that there. It's not as if I can easily get through. I'm going to restrap because we want to get that top pallet good to go. Start ourselves up, and then we will go and deliver this. And it's around the back of that one store. So yes, it looks like we've all got nice canola fields. The one thing I didn't check, let me run out in the field real quick. Am I still plus? I am still plus 98%. So I've never really figured out the 150 meters for the bees, exactly where that might be impacting, because the yield bonus near the bee, right next to the beehive, and then away from it, where I know I'm more than 150 meters, is the same. Speaking of meters, I did finally survey this field, so I do now know. You know, I'll give you the excitement. I'll let you figure it out the way I did. So that edge we just went up is 604 meters long. The field is 442 meters wide. So if I'm down right near the corner where we've got the bee, the honey and spawn point for the bees, and go across that bottom portion where I go near the center, and we didn't then crop below that, so all the way to the river there. We've got that distance, so those are our 2 long edges of the field. And then across the top, it's 215 meters wide, so just at the north end that we just went by before we turned off to go this way. And then it's 224 meters down that piece that protrudes up. So let me pull up the map real quick so that I'm not talking in theoreticals, especially if this is the first episode you've seen. So This is the long edge, this is the wide, so that's 215, this is 224. And then just kind of doing the math, I said I would take this part here and kind of fold it up and say, you know, it fills in this field. It's probably honestly a little bit bigger, so I may be underestimating the size, but you know, I also didn't take out this piece because I felt it was small enough. So then that makes that 227 meters across to kind of get to this point. And then we're 380 meters straight up here. So that gives us a dimension of 53.5 acres. All right, so I haven't been up here by Swedes area for a little while. It looks like he's gotten rid of his shed. They may not be terraforming the road, or they just haven't gotten to it yet. I'm not sure. But in any event, he's starting to clean up from the little bit of misplacement. He's also got canola here, so I'm guessing we all did canola, just because it was one of the things we could get in the ground quickly. So I'm not sure what fire sears, and it's possible Ginger didn't plant anything till the spring, so he may have just gotten crops in the ground. But I'm trying to remember, I think, because these are 400 liter pallets, so last time when we took it we had about, you know, 1,000 liter, 1,200 liters, and I think we got about 1,000. That was 3 pallets, so I'm thinking, I actually don't know what the price is, so assuming the price would be similar, we'd be at 2.5 to, we'd probably be 2,500, I think is the best we can hope for. So let's head off this way. Hoping I'm remembering correctly. I'm not looking at the map intentionally because I'm trying to make sure I'm really learning my way around. Because if you recall, when we had the farm in Iowa, I didn't realize that sign says Shellbrook Knights. That's awesome. So for the baseball stadium, they, you know, even though it's Bedford Park still, as it is in Elm Creek, they've got signs out there for the local baseball team. There isn't one down here, which makes sense because you're not coming that way normally into things. So if I recall, this is the wood. This is wood chips, so nope, I've done the wrong thing. So consider this a tour of Shellbrook proper if you've not been here before. You know, that's the location for wood, the sawmill. This up here, this red structure, is where we'll be dropping our grain. But yeah, I need to get up. I think it's actually this location. No, it's not this one either. Alright, I give up. Hold on. No, it is here at PV Mart. So, I think I'm actually thinking of a map tour I was giving as far as the sell point I was thinking of, which is not great. But, hey, it is what it is. So as I drive through here, it should start to peel these off. There we go. Let's see where we end up with. 2,400, 400, so 2,838. So actually, even better than I could have hoped for. So at this point, I've gotten basically $4,000 of honey from these bees. It's still a long, long way from paying for what I need, what I'm using to service the bees. But the thing is, unless Farming Simulator does something to me I'm not aware of, they're kind of an infinite producer. So I don't think I have to replace bees or anything, because I know, like in FS19, there was a honey production. There was a whole process involved. So there was an add-on that basically, you'd buy beehives, you'd have the little boards that would slip in, and I think a hive took 14 of them. So you'd buy those, and then you'd have to buy jars of bees that you then dump into the hive, and I think you could have 400 bees in the hive, but I do think the bees like died off slowly. So like at one point you'd look, you'd have 397 bees, and but then you had to take those honeycombs out of the hive, put them in a spinner, and that would basically extract the honey. So I think it was actually called a honey extractor, but it extracted it by centrifugal force spinning around, because you could kind of watch it, and you could put 3 of those honeycombs in the extractor at once, and then you'd empty that into a bucket, and then you would take that to a little processing unit you had, and that would basically put it into jars, and you'd have to buy the empty jars as well. Whoops. So yeah, so that's a bit of the road impact from having that shed placed where it was. So a little bit of a roller coaster ride there. So there was a lot of work involved with honey production in the FS19 situation, and here we basically just have pallets, because then you'd still have to do what I was doing, which was take those jars of honey pallets and put them on a trailer and transport them for sale. So where here, we just eventually go ahead and do exactly what we did. So we just need to keep up with this probably at least a couple times a year. Empty these out, and we should be, getting a couple $1,000 maybe each time, because at this point, we're officially starting our 2nd year on the server. So we were added into the map in June, if you recall, last year. This is year 80 in FSN. So nice round year is really kind of where we're starting and doing things. Alright, let me see, because I'm trying to think. I probably want to do something similar, but I almost feel like that was too close. I don't know. And I didn't like the trees, but I don't want to leave it out here. I mean, maybe the reality is I just need to reposition the trailer when I'm ready to fill it. Because at this point, I think I can go this way, is what I did before. Because, if I put it out here, it's almost too far. Well, maybe not. Let me try that. I just need to be careful that I don't put it too far by the trees. I'm going to disconnect myself here, because I think I'm relatively straight to where I would want to be. So we'll leave that there. Should shock the wheel, so we don't have any. No, they're on the other side, so there you go. We've got the red chocks in there. And now we can go put this away. But we'll try that for next time and see if the work is a little bit better, because we definitely were having some challenges with the trees. the direction, because at this point it's far enough away that I think I can load from the side that's near the hive instead of driving all the way around the trailer. We'll see if I'm right. But, at this point, we're set. The biggest mystery that remains right now, in my mind, is weeds. Oh, hi. Nice deer early morning. Is weeds within the field. So we obviously plowed because we needed to get the field prepped. I believe that probably destroyed any potential weeds that would have been in the ground at that point. And in the old incarnation in FS19, weeds were planted while you were seeding and harvesting. So it happened at 2 points. So I was, if it was similar here, I was somewhat expecting weeds to show up after I had planted the seeds, but they didn't. Now, if they show up after harvest, I think if we're not plowing, like once we seed, in theory they'll go away, but they'll probably grow back. So these little things here, these are all weeds. You can see they're saying, weed large, herbicide, and so forth. So that's what would be sprouting in our fields. Here in our yard, I don't necessarily care. It's just grass and so forth. But this does tell me, though, that we're at the stage where, we would have large weeds in the field if it was going to happen. And I've been watching the map, and there are certainly some fields that show with weeds, some of which I had plowed getting ready for the FSN auction. But I'm thinking this growing cycle, well, maybe actually not this one. No, it might actually happen, because the reason I'm saying no is, I'm likely going to use the south portion of the field this coming year, which means we may wait a while, because I don't think I'm going to plant canola, wheat, or barley. So yeah, the thought I'm having is, once again, because of what we learned about pallets, that I kind of shared with you a few episodes ago, as I had to clean up my mess when I had things laying around, is even that honey spawn point that we worked with today, like that counts as one pallet on the ground, and at most we're supposed to have 2. I think even the smallest chicken pasture's spawn point will produce at least 2 pallets, if not more. And that would mean we're probably having to check in every day and move eggs, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. And I don't know, therefore, if I want to play with that. I may do some testing offline in single player and see what I can learn there. Because if it takes a few months, that might be okay. But in that case, then I might want to do wheat or barley, because I think then the chickens can eat that. But what I may be better off doing, if I want to do some sort of animals, is to do animals that don't spawn pallets, which are pigs or cows. And again, cows are a good amount of work, but certainly would fill the empty days. But then I use the empty days to do things off the FSN farm. So again, a lot to think about and consider. I see that rock picker and it just puts me in a bad mood just seeing it. So I'll look the other way. I'll pretend it's not there. But yeah, first summer day here. Definitely what I expected here in the yard. We've got a nice little area, deer frolicking in the woods outside our home. So what could be better? We just sold almost $3,000 of honey, and if everything goes well, tomorrow we should be harvesting 53.5 acres of canola. And then we're really going to start making some actual money because we'll have our first crop off the field. So we'll keep thinking about things. Certainly, if you'd like, drop comments down below if you've got some ideas of how you think the farm can be effectively used. Again, the challenge with FSN versus just a single player game is we've got those bounds and rules that we need to work between, and I also need to couple any decision with how much work it's going to create, and can I handle that work in the time I've got available. So I'm still in that spot of I'm really thinking the field's enough, and I'm thinking as much as I'd like to maybe try something additional, and I know the reason I'm feeling that is we've had days and days of basically inactivity on the farm itself. I've been busy on the server because we've had a lot of fields coming up for auction, and being a new server, every field needs to be plowed the first time. But now if fields cycle through again and don't get bid on, like, it doesn't create that work. And so I'm thinking I've got days and days of downtime, more so than just the 3 days in winter, and that I could fill it with something a little bit more. I don't want a double crop, because that was why I didn't plant the south end this year. Because just, to talk through what I'm visualizing in my head, if I planted any of these crops, I'd be harvesting them in a few days, and basically I'd have 2 immediate harvests. So the plan is, if I don't plant one of these, if I plant something here, I'm not doing that until next spring. So basically that means after I do some work tomorrow in harvesting, assuming I can get that field done in one day, I'm basically then sitting through these days waiting until I can plant that south end of the field. And because of what I started with, I've plowed and limed and rolled and done everything I need to. Actually, I didn't roll, so I guess I need to fertilize. So there will be work, now that I think about it, to get that south end ready. So there will be a little bit going on there, just as there would be if I was reusing the north end, as I would have to I could spread one layer of fertilizer for sure. So it might not be as quiet this year, but then in a typical year, if I did something like that, I'd be looking at 6 days of no activity again. And so that's where I'm thinking, if I had some animals that I was taking care of, that would at least give me a little bit to do on the farm every few days, and kind of fill that downtime. Because of the way the crops work in FS22 versus FS19, we've got larger down periods. And so, the FMs and I have been talking. A lot of people are like, that's actually not a bad thing, because it relieves the pressure and the time that we had in the FS19 location when we were down in Ohio. So that's kind of thinking out loud where my head's at. But as I said, feel free to join into the conversation, and we can talk about it and see where things go. Just given the reality of the delays of the videos, I might already be on to having to move forward with things as it is, and have made decisions before you see them, before you get a chance to see the video and comment. Because at this point, I think we're a week or a little bit more than a week ahead when I do this work to when you actually see it. So a lot can happen in a week, as we said. Even with all the downtime, it's only 6 days. It's less than a week, and then I'm on to planting. So So just, trying to be totally upfront and honest of how things work. So it might take a few cycles if we talk and I agree, hey, yeah, we'll give that a shot. It might still take an in-game year or maybe two before something appears that we agree on based on any comments in this video. But that's enough at this point, so I will see you next time.